Good evening, everyone. That's me, Static Pulse, commentator for the race tonight, KittyLyra versus jamespedid. Two very strong racers here for you this evening. We'll be getting started here in a couple moments, everyone, so settle in, get your water or other beverage of choice, and prepare for a little over an hour of Earthbound action. The countdown has started. So, tonight we will be playing Boogey Percent, a partial speed run of the Earthbound video game. Time is roughly a little over an hour. We'll probably see maybe an hour 10 if racers have really good luck. Definitely under that if luck is poor. Probably around there, maybe a little longer. Earthbound has plenty of RNG, and anything can happen, such as accidentally hitting the cancel button and not the confirm button. Lyra mentioned in chat that her stream might be a little wonky tonight, so there could be potential stream issues. Hopefully things will stay clean for the race tonight. We've all done it, folks. We've all hit the cancel button on accident. I've done it. Other racers have done it. James will simply have to go fast. Literally yesterday. I did not watch the race yesterday, but when I get around to it, I will take a look. Okay. So, starting off here, we will grab the cracked baseball bat. We will need this item to leave the house later on. You at least need to pick it up to be let out of the house the second time you try and leave. I guess you don't necessarily have to equip it, but it's additional text, and we're all about minimizing text here. You gotta go fast. Blind Walrus, I believe, I don't believe so. I think the rules as is, we're not restarting over in case someone cancels out of the confirm menu on accident. I could be wrong. Someone in chat, please correct me. But in the grand scheme of things, it's Earthbound has plenty of RNG to help James make up that gap. We're doing here the initial hill climb to talk to our friend Pokey. Later on tonight, we will... Yes, the run starts when time starts. So if you happen to cancel out, if you happen to hit the wrong button and cancel out of the menu at that time when time starts, then you end up a little bit behind. In any case, 16 seconds is not insurmountable. There is, as I mentioned before, there's plenty of RNG, there's lots of difficult fights ahead of us, particularly here in Onet. We got a couple of strong bosses. Anything could happen. We will hopefully not be smashed by big ants today. Lyra here about to head out. There are 3 enemies we'll be watching for on our way back up the hill to the meteorite. The snake, the crow, and the dog. They're all dangerous in their own ways. And they all have different movement patterns to be aware of. The snake, you can do a little technique called stutter stepping, where you rapidly press the direction on your gamepad. Since the snake only, and other enemies who have the same movement pattern, only detect your movement every couple of frames. If you press the directional pad at the right frequency, you can, as you see here on Lyra's side, just kind of move around them and get past them that way. The crows, they have a swooping pattern. It's somewhat easy to get them hung up on stuff, while the dog will just charge at you like so. They'll go right for nests, so you can get them hung up on obstacles. In certain sections, it's not feasible to go around them. They are faster than nests. Like here, for James, you just kind of have to despawn the dog there. Lyra up the mountain first, James not far behind. Neither runner took a fight on the way up, as definitely the best way to do things. If you do end up in an encounter, either of the 3 can be very dangerous to a level 1 nest. You do get at least 1 EXP for winning, and that does, I believe, get you to at least level 3 after defeating this next boss, Starman Jr., which gets you a slight advantage going into the arcade fights, but 1 EXP in the grand scheme of things doesn't particularly do much. In any case, Starman Jr., the boss coming up is... we would say, what do you call it, a scripted battle. Hopefully this snake is out of Lyra's way as she makes her way down. Looks like it is. But, Starman Jr. cannot actually damage you. It only knows psi attacks, and you Buzz are deer, bug, dung beetle friend. Will use psi shield and is exceptionally fast and will go before Starman Jr. in all cases. So while we can never get hit, we also have to rely on Buzz for damage. Buzz changes between using a shield and attacking. So we really want Buzz to do his strong attacks to take Starman Jr. out faster. Starman Jr. has 4 different moves it can use. 2 of them are PSI fires, alpha and beta. It can use freeze, which is faster than beta, as we can see all this text on the screen for everyone in our party. When fire hits, freeze only hits 1 kid, so you only have 1 kid's worth of text, and it can also guard. We don't want to see guards on the turns Buzz attacks, as that will cut the damage Buzz does. But it's otherwise the fastest thing that Starman Jr. can do. Oh, and we got a nice smash. Looks like Starman Jr. taken down, 740. Very good time. Yeah, we've seen lead changes on Starman Jr. just because sometimes it just takes a while to get through the fight. It's nothing that you as a runner have really any influence over. All you can do is auto attack and press the button to advance the text. James now exiting at 8:25 or so. Plenty of time between now and the end, folks. You must defeat the Boogey and pick up the jar of fly honey. When we pick up the jar of fly honey, that is time. Sometime around an hour from now. Buzz here goes to the School of Owl Exposition. You need to, for this first question he asks, you need to confirm, and the second question right here, you want to say no. You do not want to hear the story another time. Lyra now making her way down the hill. There are a couple of spawn plates in the way. We may or may not see additional enemies. We'll be heading over to the somewhat secret clubhouse. I think I missed this a couple times when I was a kid. I didn't know you could get up in here and get a free defensive item, the Mr. Rice baseball bat, or souvenir our friend gives us. We've wanted it for a long time. We're going to equip it and then sell it for a regular baseball cap, because it's worth $99, and that's a lot of money, folks. With that money and the amount that we have in our bank accounts, we can buy all the equipment we need for nearly the entire run. Fortunately, James getting hit with some spawns down here. Lyra getting through without any. Slightly extending her lead, but James doesn't take any fights, so it's all good. We have the kid out front here who loves blocking you, trying to get into the clubhouse. The movement here from Lyra helps avoid some spawn triggers down here by the arcade. We only want to take 3 fights. These 2 Pogo Punks, who upon defeat will give us a free burger. And then 1 mandatory fight to the Yes-Man Jr. that guards the door to Frank. Frank being our first real, actual boss fight. Very dangerous fight. We do not have much HP. He does about half on a strong hit to us. We very much can't survive very well, so after every hit we want to heal up to minimize the chances of getting put into a bad HP range where we can't mash out a heal. We want to stay around mid-20s, hopefully not below that. Once we get below 22, things start getting pretty rough for survival. These Pogo Punks can also be pretty dangerous if Ness just decides he does not want to hit. The charge forward does a good amount of damage, as we can see. The bread roll helps keep us healthy. 7 HP, but the Pogo Punk is down. As we'll need a stronger heal than the can of fruit juice from the garbage can. Free bag of fries on Lyra's in. Nice top up there. We won't need the fries for anything else. Frank banishing a knife right away. Ideally, we will see him say something nasty, particularly in turns when we don't have to heal. That's just free damage for us. Ideally, we will use our PSI healing before using the burgers. After defeating Frank, we will get enough PP to get up to 5. And that will allow us to use another PSI heal in the next boss fight, which happens right after Frank, the Frankie Stein. Frankie Stein hits every other turn, so it's far less dangerous than Frank. It still can do pretty good damage, so you do need to watch your HP. The strong hit can do in the 30s, so do want to prepare for that. But as there is James manages to defeat Frank. Very good. Both of our runners are now in Frankie Stein, although Lyra... Looks like Lyra... I can't really tell if she's beat it or not. It seems to be skipping around a bit. Nope, still in the fight, but just finished. So it appears that both of our runners will get through Frank no problem. We really do not want to get KO'd here, as we will respawn back up at our house Not only will we need to talk to our mom to get our PP healed up as we revive with 0, we really do need psychic points. But as we leave, we will have to take a nice photo to commemorate our journey, and that takes it takes a lot of time, so ideally we will not die at any point here in Onet. The next portion of our journey tonight, we will buy a lot of burgers, more than likely. I don't expect either runner to go burgerless. And then after that, we will do the slug grind, where we will fight a lot of slugs, get a lot of EXP, up to level 8, and grab ourselves our first AoE magic, PSI Rockin', which is more or less mandatory for the Titanic Ant boss fight. We will need to defeat 22 slugs. There's multiple ways, pathways to get there. Your more experienced runners will take up to, I believe, let me do the math right. We'll take four packs, getting 16, and then go up to the top floor where there are up to potential 6 packs of slugs and finish the grind right there. However, it is more dangerous. There are black antoids which have the same sprite as slugs, and they're much more dangerous than slugs. They can call for help, they do a lot more damage. They can also life up if you just love wasting your time. A lot more dangerous. It is one less fight overall, so it is faster. You'll see what our runners decide to do. There are cases where slugs might get despawned, so you might fight odd, strange numbers of them, like 2 or 3 or so. Lyra starting off with a nice 4-pack right here. Also starting off with a nice smash. The area where Lyra's at is the standard area to grind out the slugs. The rock on the floor is a good indicator of where you need to move back and forth to respawn the enemies, and that next section there. As we see James here starting. Lyra already with the next pack. James trying to get the mouse cut up on the wall, unfortunately does not work out quite so well. The mouse is not particularly dangerous, but it is a fight that is not worth a lot of EXP, so we'll take care of it and move on. James also critting their first slug, good job. Lyra here with the excellent slug luck, though. I wish my slug grinds went near as well as this. So the tiles over the spawn tiles on the left can spawn slugs and mice. So if you get a mouse caught up on the wall, the game can no longer spawn additional mice, and so you only get slugs when it decides to spawn enemies. James unfortunately not getting the mouse cut up on the wall. So I believe this is KittyLyra's last 4-pack that she needs. We'll see if she heads up to the top. And here's where stuttering practice really pays off, being able to get around all these various non-slug enemies. See, there do seem to be a number of bugs up there, but not the bugs we need. If you do just see 2 bugs up there, it's possible there are 2 antoids, maybe a slug and an antoid. But this looks like a 6-pack right here, and it is. James heading up to take some 6-packs. Fortunately, getting some bad luck with spawns, having to take a mouse fight. The mice, however, are much less dangerous than the ants. They can, however, gang up on you, though, so do need to be careful about that. Lyra's now level 8, and will continue her trek to the top of Giant Step. We'll initiate battle with the Titanic Ant. See a lot of slugs up here. Very nice 6-pack. Titanic Ant, a very dangerous foe. Depending on how things go down, we could see some KOs here. Hopefully not. Lyra deciding to stutter these 2 ants is doing exceptionally well. Looks like there might just be 1. At level 8, there is a chance you have high enough offense to insta-kill single ants. You need 24 or better. And here's why we need our PSI rockin'. These black ant twins in the back, they only know how to heal. And that is very difficult to win if you have 2 backup enemies always healing each other as well as the boss. So we got a nice, I think 116 hit, 44 HP damage. Not so good, but he got about half his HP down. Shield isn't great to see, but what can you do? Titanic Ant can put up a shield, he can magnet to drain your PP, can also lower your defense, and has a strong and weak hit. The attack script split into 2, technically. One script has a weak hit, one script has a strong hit, and it can flip between them. I'm sure the viewers in chats may have more details. KittyLyra running low on burgers, taking the strong hits. All she has left is auto battle. We'll see how it goes. Oh, well, it went very well then, actually. Making it out by the skin of her teeth. This wasn't that close, but it was starting to get there. Next up for Lyra is the Cop Gauntlet, where you face down 4 cops and then Captain Strong, another difficult point in the journey. James finishing up their slug grind. Will then be taking on the ant himself. So we'll see if Lyra hits up the burger shop once again and grab another complement of burgers. It's definitely recommended you do so, as the cops have no time waster attacks. They can attack strong, they can attack weak, but they're always trying to do damage to you. James with the unfortunate red swirl from the ant. Oh, that ant caught up to him pretty quick. Unfortunately, now there's two of them. Excuse me, there are three of them. This calls for a wipe of the fight. We'll likely go back and grab Butterfly to top off on PP. It's fairly difficult to fight the ant, so you want as many resources as you can. I would also probably throw out a cookie or two. James, taking on a single ant, does have enough offense to instantly win. We had an SS ant right there, but James spotted it and took it out. And now James starts the Titanic ant fight. We'll see how things go. KittyLyra on a very excellent Onet pace here. Unfortunately, that was a very big magnet hit. Not what you want to see. You'd ideally have enough to do 2 Rockins, however, you got 1 Rockin', 1 heal, gonna have to bash the rest of the HP out. Fortunately, I think he menued to a cookie, not ideal. Does not heal nearly enough HP to be worth it, particularly in this fight. The shield up reducing damage, this could be a tricky fight. Lyra through the first cop on 34 HP will likely heal. The cops do have a 1 in 8 chance to drop burgers, however, do not rely on those. Make sure you have enough healing on hand. These cops can also smash you, which can be very frustrating if happen to be low on HP or low on heals. Nice smash. Oh, that was exact mortal. Fortunately, all James can do is bash it out, and he had enough. The ant is down, folks. Both runners make it through, no casualties. 4 HP and a drain. Lyra now on the last cop, right before Captain Strong. James on his way to the cop gauntlet will no doubt buy some burgers on the way back. Yeah, I think the only healing item James had left was a cookie. So it was very fortunate he had that smash earlier to really make up for only being able to throw out the 1 Rockin'. Lyra now on Captain Strong. Captain Strong is pretty strong, but he does have time waster moves. He can lose his temper, increase his offense, he can guard. He has a weak hit and a strong hit. Assuming you don't miss, 2 Rockins are typically enough to take him down. He only has 140 HP. And Lyra's out of Onet, 28-35. Very strong. Very, very strong time for Onet. Lyra now on their way to Tucson. Not too much happening here. Well, there are some mushrooms we'll want to avoid. They can cause mushroomization, which not only confuses you in battle, but will also mess up your overworld movement by changing your... Which, directional pad does what? So up can be left, right can be down. Actually, it rotates, so it's somewhat consistent at least. Not completely all over the place. It's still not ideal to get hit with that. But thankfully, no mushrooms. Here, Lyra is saving at the department store to set up for a death warp later on. And we'll now be headed down to Applecid to give him some food and $200, and then we will make our way to view a lovely iron pencil in the valley. James now on Cop 2, somewhat low on HP, but we'll heal right back up with the life up. PRV coming up, one of the more dangerous areas in the game. Very narrow areas, not much room to maneuver. Lots of spawn plates, very easy to get pincered. The initial journey to see the iron pencil isn't too bad, but UFOs have the swooping movement pattern, and unlike the crows, which get hung up on things, UFOs seem to have a way of getting around various narrow areas, and they can surprise you with their movement. Free burger for James, always lovely. Going into the Captain Strong fight, we'll see how things go with him and his Rockins. And looks like PRV first visit is free for Lyra. Love to see it. A 2 on Strong, we'll see... I think even like a really bad hit will still take Strong down. And James is out 32, 35, or 36. Also, a pretty good time. KittyLyra nabbing a butterfly to restore psychic points. Since you're typically very low after Captain Strong, you really would like to grab a butterfly, top off, very helpful just in case you run into an encounter, or even to recover your HP after the strong fight. So Lyra will be picking up the pencil eraser here, and will also likely be grabbing a skip sandwich. The skip sandwich increases Ness's overworld movement speed. Very helpful for getting around encounters in PRV and other areas. Did James save? It's not withdraw the money, but I don't remember if he saved or not. Hopefully he did. Lyra now heading back through the caves. Unfortunately, sometimes you just have to go despawn these enemies a couple times before you're let through. And now the real PRV starts here, although it's starting off very nicely. No encounters yet. Oh, I see. James will be saving here at the bus station. This is an alternate place to save for the Death Warp. Typically, you do this if you plan on picking up the couple life noodles in the PRV area. It can be a little difficult to get to. You do have to go down some ways where there's a lot of spawn plates. Very easy to run into enemies or get pincered. So we'll see how that works out for James. If you do it after getting Paula, then getting low on HP or otherwise getting her KO'd on the way down to the life needles can be helpful. While we're running into some trees, needing to despawn things, James still has a bit yet to catch up to where Lyra is. He's heading to the first visit to PRV. At the oh, that diamond is going a little crazy. But doing the death warp at the bus station with the couple life noodles is faster than going up to the hospital to revive Paula. The flies you need to hit at Tucson. You do have to go back down to the daycare or elementary school, or I guess preschool, right? Polestar preschool. You do have to go down there to talk with Paula's dad, and the bus station is right next to the preschool there, unlike the hospital, which is at the very opposite end, so it is a little faster to go the bus route. Here we have some equipment buys. We're buying a new hat for defense and a new bat for offense. Really helps out against the cultists here. We'll be having a shack fight where we fight 2 cultists and a crow. Cultists can call for help, so it can be a little tricky. These crows also are annoying. You can get in the way, but they're not particularly dangerous, although they might steal your food if you have any additional food, like skip sandwiches, remaining. And they're also just annoyingly fast, so you can't run from them. You can miss against them quite a bit. So typically we'll use 2 Rockins in this fight to end it. Rockin can hit high enough to one-hit knock out these cultists, so we'll see what happens. Can also miss the cultists, and they can also call for help. Another thing to note is that you cannot run from cultists, so if you do happen to run into them and overrolled on accident, or maybe they spawn on top of you in the cave or something, you're just gonna have to fight it out. 81 very good hits, and a bash will take him out. Does not call for help. Easy fight. Lyra eating one of many burgers to recover from the damage taken in the fight. Next up for Lyra is going to the Cultist HQ. There will be one more mandatory fight against a Cultist, and then we'll be up against Carpainter. Against Carpainter, he has a very set attack pattern. You'll always use Thunder, followed by either PSI Shield, first time, and then followed by Recovery next time, and then the third attack will always be an attack. Carpenter cannot crit you from what I recall, so he'll always do somewhere around, I think, 50-ish damage. Ideally, since we're going to be doing our Death Warp after this, we will want to be at low HP. This can, depending on how things go down, this can be fairly risky. If you're hoping to go in and KO, just don't manage a KO before he attacks and you're already low on HP, can result in a wipe. A very costly wipe, having to walk all the way back through PRV all the way here just to challenge him again. Very difficult. And James makes it through the diamond patch. Our main damage against Carpainer is Reflected Thunders. Thunder only has a 25% chance to hit, though. It's, oh, James in a tight spot here, unfortunately, having to take a fight. You really do not want to fight the UFOs. They are way too fast. You do... everything else is much... I want to say pretty much slower compared to UFO. Lyra making it through the Carpainer fight, 26 HP, a great amount of HP to have for the Death Warp. Unfortunately, goes back up to 54 after the level up, but can't do anything about that. Fortunately, we see why these trees are terrible. They also explode after you defeat them in battle. Lyra now on her way to rescue Paula and initiate the Death Warp. James nearly to PRV, but having to burn the sandwich does mean his options for getting through this section, the horseshoe, are a little more limited. There are a couple of spawn plates in front of the door. I don't know, that seems a little too crowded. James appears to be going for the couple life noodles right now. A couple life noodles are down that little pathway there, a fair ways. Manages to grab it, but getting back out will be the real test. There's a UFO and a diamond. The diamonds aren't too bad. The robos aren't too bad to fight. There's another skip sandwich available. All right, excellent movement, James. Makes it through. No Ori points lost on James' end. To facilitate the Death Warp, we throw away all of our defensive items and the teddy bear. And we'll be heading in here to fight the mole playing rough. We'll see whether he's rough or nice. Even with low HP, this can take a while, simply as we can see here. The mole likes to miss a lot for whatever reason. He can waste his turn. He can also confuse himself. That's the third miss. Feels like me when I'm trying to do a Death Warp. Just misses 5 times in a row. With the life noodles on his side, James will have a slightly faster Tucson after the Death Warp. We'll be able to make up a bit of time on Lyra. And Nest goes down, the Death Warp has been completed. And we'll see how the Shack fight goes for James. And additionally, make sure you have enough money to revive Paul at the hospital. You need $100. Excellent. 2 calls for help, but nothing. No one coming. And I'll work on the crow, though. Jane's going for physical attacks, opting to try and save PP. A little risky to do so. But does not get punished. But does lose a hamburger, unfortunately. James is through the fight and will now be on his way to Carpenter. Lyra now doing the various Tucson errands to set the appropriate story flags to make it to Threed. Not too much going on her end at the moment. Oh, yeah, with the NPC in the way, I would not... Yeah, that's unfortunate. We had a bad cultist spawn right in front of the door there. And with the NPC in front there, Janet, or whatever you want to call her, getting in the way, it was not ideal to try and get in. There's a couple of healing items in here. You can get another skip sandwich. You can also get a croissant. Croissant being a pretty strong healing item, but if you need some and you didn't go to the self-help stand, it's there for you. James making it through the cultist. No cultist EDF today. Alright, let's see how this Carpenter fight goes down for Jane. Over on KittyLyra's side, we're starting off the Runaway 5 show. James unfortunately not getting a Reflected Thunder, but does 96 damage, so that's pretty good. 79, also excellent. Has tons of HP, so is very well suited to get through here safely, and does so. 81 HP remaining, that's only going up by 3. So unfortunately fairly healthy, we'll probably need 2-3 hits to be taken down by the mole, but made it through the boss fight. Been a couple times, and people have been KO'd by Carpenter due to bad luck. Thankfully, all our racers are making it through just fine tonight. Right, Lyra now heading on the bus to go to Threed. Another cutscene. Not a bad time to grab some more water or a snack. A late night snack. Lyra on an excellent pace at the moment. James now heading in to do his death warp. We'll see how the mole is for him. This is the only race scheduled for tonight. Tomorrow we have a race at 10 a.m. Eastern and 12:30 p.m. Eastern, from what it looks like. Yep, the brackets have been proceeding apace, so the amount of races going on are dwindling. James gets the death warp pretty quickly, actually, so that's always good to see. With his save at the bus station, he will have a quicker twosome compared to Lyra. Be able to make up some time, but Lyra is still in the lead, but we've still got more game left. Boogey tent. Oh, there's tons of enemies here, but thankfully the ghost did not clip through the terrain before Lyra could get past them. Take a look at these zombies and then head back to the hotel for a nice massage and sauna afterwards. Oh, we got a hippie sighting. Lyra will be starting the Jeff portion of the game here shortly. After Jeff reunites with his friends, then I should say unites with his friends. We'll then be right on our way to fight the tent. So not much left tonight. Still a couple fights that could cause some trouble, but overall I'd say the next major fight will be the Boogey tent himself. It can be very variable. You can die in one hit, or it can really pose an issue. So we'll see how it ends, but got a couple minutes before we get there. James now at his show. There's a couple errands we have to run in the boarding school here. We have to get a bad key, then go complain about our bad key to get the bad key machine, which ironically is pretty good for unlocking the 5 things that it can unlock in the game. The lockers here will pick up a weapon for Jeff as well as a hat for Jeff. And then we'll hit the road on south to Lake Tessie. After acquiring our best friend, a certain monkey with a penchant for chewing bubblegum. There are 3 enemies on the way that we can encounter on the way down to Lake Tessie. 2 of them we've seen before, the Runaway Dog and the Ever-Present Crows. The other one is a very angry goat. We do not want to fight the goat. It's by far the most annoying enemy we could run into. If we do run into an enemy, it will be the runaway dog, who, for Jeff, has a 50-50 chance of dropping a bread roll. Since Jeff has no PSI, the boiled egg he has on hand is the only healing item that he has access to. Alright, well, we see a green dog. Let's bet. We got the green dog, everyone. This will be an instant KO, a level up, and a potential food item, but no bread roll here, folks. We got the green. Thanks to some jankiness in how the game calculates pack attacks, and it's based on Ness's position. As you notice, Ness is not in the party, so because it still calculates based on Ness's position, which is somewhere. You can get some janky greens with Jeff, depending on what map you're on. Lyra opting to keep the broken spray can to get the defense spray. It can be sold later for additional rockets. A decent item to sell. And here we have the magnificent Tessie itself. Everyone, get your Tessie emotes out in chat. James now going through the graveyard. Fortunately runs into some resistance he just can't ignore. Going south of the gravestone here and then heading upwards, you can avoid some spawn triggers here over on the right side here, but we go far enough right that things can spawn on the left, but nothing did for James. Looks like he may be home free. Excellent graveyards from both our runners. After the Tessie, we have another spawn trigger skip. By heading southwest from our position, just holding left and down, we'll be able to avoid the triggering of a enemy goat. One of the easiest spawn skips in the game. It's very consistent. Let's go left here, head down and around, and that 100% spawn plate does not work. As I think it's 100%. Up next we have the strongest enemy in the game, the worthless protoplasm. Getting one level for Jeff makes this quite a bit safer, as the protoplasm does... Oh, that was only 5? It's usually closer to 9 or 10. But they can call for help, and because Lyra's guarding, that's why. The 2 on the field, looks like Lyra will be guarding into such time that she may be able to run away from the encounters. Trying to run away now, and was able to do so. Thankfully, unfortunately, we don't have a backup healing item. Another skip you can do in here is getting this Mad Duck down here south. It can be uncooperative, depending on how its movement script goes, but we managed to get it stuck. Lyra going for the croissant here. One of the more consistent skips, consistent in quotes because Bubble Monkey can make it very inconsistent. It worked up until Bubble Monkey decided to betray Jeff. James now starting on the Jeff journey himself. Lyra through the dungeon, defeating the second strongest enemy in the game. One more dungeon for Jeff to go through, the Pawn Cave. of enemies that can be stuttered, except for the mushrooms, which we may run into in the second and third sections of the cave. If you're really good at stuttering, this is a wonderful place to practice. While there's some narrow confines, you do have space to get around them if you're feeling particularly good with your stutters. Like right here. With Bubble Monkey, you can also set up back attacks. As we noticed, Bubble Monkey will sometimes stop and then race to Jeff. If you can get an enemy between you and Bubble Monkey, you can take a free grain. There's 3 like kind of small sections in this next area you can stutter through, but it can be a little risky, particularly in that middle area. Mushrooms can spawn like right there. Since we can't stutter the mushrooms, we have to despawn them. They are by far the most dangerous enemy in the caves. Enemies can also spawn right there. As we've seen, there's a mushroom there, and if there's enemies in the central section, you know, they can eventually sometimes catch up to you. And here we have a decision. Do we try and get through the middle here? It looks like we are, but we get the green, it looks like. Are able to run away? And we did. James, unfortunately, taking a crow encounter. Crow's much less delightful than the dog. The last section of the cave here has a lot of mushrooms, but it's overall much safer to get through. You just have to despawn them. No stuttering to get through these areas. I'll pick up the free bottle rocket here and head on up. There may or may not be mushrooms up here. Nothing to do but despawn them. It may take a while. Lyra's through the cave. There's a couple of cave boys around the Stonehenge area to avoid, and then we'll be back on our way to Threed. James, unfortunately, it looks like he triggered the photo op here right in front of the tent. If you slide off the peg there on the left side, you can scoot right by it, but sometimes this NPC gets in your way, and you either gotta wait for him to move or head back and up and around if you want to avoid the photo trigger. Alright, Tessie 2, get your emotes out, everyone. Love a good Tessie emote. Lyra heading on out of Winners, about 103 or so. I believe this cutscene's about 2.5-ish minutes. I know there's some in chat who've timed it extensively. Once we touch down, we'll be heading right to the tent, and Lyra has enough of a lead. She may decide to take a safety save, or maybe grab a safety bear. We'll see what she decides to do. She does have the defense spray, so she may go right for fighting the tent. For the tent itself, we are relying on Jeff's big bottle rocket to deal a one-hit knockout. Can do enough damage to go over, hit above the tent's max HP, which is about 590 or so. But sometimes it'll only do like 200 or 300, and then we gotta make up the rest with rockins or any bottle rockets that we may have in our inventory or bought along the way. That's why most people pick up that singular bottle rocket right at the end of Pond Cave. James now Fighting the strongest enemy in the game. If you aren't guarding, it'll do about 10 damage each. Only take a couple. Can only take 3 hits at level 1. And James goes down. It's a very quick to get back into things from here. You just start where Tessie drops you off, so you just go right back in, but still a mild annoyance, still a mild time loss. But if the protoplasm chooses violence, you can skip around that protoplasm. It's definitely the hardest skip to perform in this dungeon main cave. We have a nice protoplasm second time around. Easily defeated. Get a free cookie out of it that we don't need. I think we got 2 cookies now on James' side, but Lyra now at the read. Only one thing stands between her and victory, and that's the big old tent. Lyra taking the teddy bear from the trash can here, the safety bear. James unfortunately not getting the 3rd proto skip. The teddy bear redirects attacks to it, I believe, at a 50% rate, so it can help keep your kids alive, particularly since without any defense items and our low levels, all the kids are very susceptible, except for Ness for getting KO'd instantly from a physical attack. And here we go. Bottle Rocket does 3 or 534. Pretty good damage. A good rockin' will take it out, and that's it. GG's to Lyra. Once we get to this level up text, all we need to do is pick up the fly honey from the trash can, left over after defeating... I think we just got a green on James' side, too. No, we didn't. That was just... my poor ability to discern colors. And boy howdy do we get a lot of levels from all the EXP the tank gives us. And that's time, folks. Lyra has finished with a race time GG time of 1:07:40. Congratulations. James unfortunately getting a red swirl from some slugs, but slugs aren't even to Jeff. Slugs aren't too dangerous. Thankfully, has a pretty wide open area here to maneuver around. Does not appear to be any enemies right here at the entrance of the 3rd section, so get there pretty quick. All we need to do now is grab our bottle rocket and then head on out. Oh no, he's gonna fight the... He's going for it. These mushrooms are very dangerous. They do a lot of damage. I think they can only attack. But James is going for it. Yeah, that's a new one for me too, Peppa Possum. The tank glitch over on the little left menu is a little unusual. Oh, it's gone now. James able to get out of the cave there at the top, didn't have to despawn as much as Lyra. Now make his way through Stonehenge. Hopefully it won't get tagged by a cave boy. Nope. James now on his way to 3 to finish out the run. Alright, cutscene's about over for James. He will be making his way to the tent, and we'll see what luck he has getting through the Boogey. Unfortunately, does not get door text skip. You can stand just close enough to that door without triggering the "this door is locked" text. Oh, he's going right to the left. Uh-oh. We're not going to the left. Go to the right. We're not picking up the teddy bear, though. We'll see if he decides to do a safety save or not. If he just goes right for it. The skip sandwich, I'm assuming, is going right for it. One enemy we do not want to fight down here is the zombie dog. Thankfully, the zombie dog was not paying attention. We were able to get trigger the tent before we got tagged by the dog. Alright, let's see what happens. Big bottle rocket, go! Oh. Go, Jeff. 406, that's not bad. We should be able to rock in the rest of this out. So 400, we got 490. Need about another 100 to go. Boogey 10 at least has a lot of time wasters. He also can't take out Ness in a single hit. I don't know if he can crit or not, but GG's to James for defeating the tent. We got a lot of level up text to go through, but with the Jeff down, it should be a little quicker. We only have to see levels from Ness and Paula. Get just over 115 here. And that's it. James is clocked in with the race time, a GG time of 1:15:16. So congratulations to both of our runners. As we are in the bracket stages, James is knocked out while Lyra will move on. This was I believe, a round 2 race. Not sure who Lyra will face in round 3. I might be able to pull it up here really quick. Let's see. I believe KittyLyra is up against Peen Train, the number 3 seed, also a very strong runner. That will be a very good race to see. So thanks again, everyone, for joining me tonight in a very good race. And I'll see you next time, possibly even at 10 a.m. tomorrow if you happen to be around. Good night, everyone.